There's never been an event with cooler music. I'm just going to put it that way. I never heard anybody walked off to Kendrick, which is amazing. Hi! 2 people. This is going to be great. So what's up? Good to see you. So one of the problems I have speaking right now, other than a third of you who went to the bathroom, is that I have in my contract, nobody speaking before me can be 2 things, okay? Anybody speaking, and I was really excited to come here today because people in the financial world, I make a living speaking in the financial world because most people aren't good at it. I speak over, not just in finance, but all over the place, but like economists and people, they're terrible usually up here. And I get up and I can just be mildly funny and I just break the roof off. And then you had just what happened just before I got on here. And I have 2 rules. Nobody funny before me and no basic bitches. And I got both. So good. By the way, give them a round of applause if you can. That was a great session. Thank you, guys. And also, I just say ditto to what they said. I believe it. Everything they say, I'm just nodding my head in the background, which is everything they said, I believe as well. Because, like, I don't do what you all do. Like, this is what I do. Like, what I'm trying to tell you right now is I don't have a job. That's the whole sentence. I'm highly unemployable. I've been an entrepreneur most of my life. I think entrepreneur is Latin for terrible employee. And that's why you become one sometimes, is you can't work for places. This is my world. It's the un-world, unleadership and marketing, unselling, unbranding. And what the un means is that we are selling and branding and marketing and leading when we don't think we are, which is always. Right, Christopher said, he said that marketing is part of branding, and I wholeheartedly agree. A lot of times when we see it, because psychologists say when we see a brand, let's say a logo like the Ritz-Carlton, we think 2 things. Our most recent experience with the brand we've had or heard, and the most extreme experience with the brand we've had or heard. Notice I didn't say a third, which was like your website or your colors on your logo. It doesn't matter on their end. The only brand definition I care about is your marketplace and what they say, what your client base or your potential client base says or thinks. Just like the opinion of my own brand doesn't matter. The only opinion of my brand that matters right now is yours. I don't know what it is right now, right? Some of you might think I'm the sound guy, which is also a shout out to my sound crew back there as well. Look, let me just address the elephant in the room. Do you want me to explain the man bun? Like now? Okay, so the top 5 reasons Scott, a newly 50-year-old man, has a man bun. Reason 1, my wife loves it. That's it actually. It's the only reason I have it, and I will be keeping it forever and for long as I can. This world here is really what my world is, and I'll give you the contrast between branding and unbranding and marketing and unmarketing here. That logo on the corporate side of stuff must have taken years. Anybody here given any input on designing your own logo or anything ever? Yes? Okay, it's like taking a needle and sticking it right into my eyeball. It's so hard, and the more people you have, and I used to have a marketing firm, and the more people that give advice, and like people who could not dress themselves properly in a coordinated effort in the morning was giving my team feedback on design. You should let designers design, because the logo doesn't matter as much as the story behind it. Like there's probably a 6-month debate on tongue out and tongue in for the lion, yes? Right, a little more Randy of a side of a crowd. They're like, no, put the tongue out. People are like, well, you can't do that, right? And if we look at the actual logo, if you actually break it down, it is a severed lion's head impaled on a crown. It's dead. It's a trophy with its tongue hanging out, for crying out loud if we look at it. But I don't think of the logo, right? So when you see the logo, give me some words that come to mind for Ritz-Carlton. Shout them out. Service, luxury, expensive, yeah, all true, right? At an average of $569 a night, I think, it is also expensive, right? So when you see that, when you feel that, I think of 2 things. The most recent experience I had with them, and I stayed at the Ritz-Carlton, I think it was in Philly, and it was great for an event. And my most extreme story, I think of Joshy. Joshy is a giraffe and a poorly stuffed one at that. And he was left at the Ritz-Carlton Amelia Island Resort in Florida by a child. Great resort. Amazing people, amazing view. Everything's amazing there. They flew home to Phoenix and they realized they forgot Joshie. What happens when your kid loses their thing? Parents, how many of you have kids in here that you know about? Okay, so Allison and I have 5 kids. And the youngest 3 are hers, the oldest 2 are mine. We had a merger a decade or so ago. And if I could be honest with you all right now, it was more of a hostile takeover. We had to let a few kids go. We had some redundancies. And we're much more efficient now, and I think Q4 is going to be very profitable. So, and once they're all done at university, even more. And then they'll be moving back home. So, but you know what happens, right? Your day is done, right? And anybody within earshot, their day is done too, and now you're forming the search party, right? You got a 5-mile radius maybe, you're going doing all these type of things, and the father did what any good father would do in this scenario, which is lie to his son and say that Joshie was on an extended vacation at the Ritz-Carlton, and he's sure to be back soon. Which, as a father, I'm like, well done. Except, some of you know, you only bought yourself some time. Because your kids will forget to wear pants, and they'll go out the front door. But they will never, ever forget the time Dad lied about Joshie being on vacation. Because what are you going to say after a week and you don't find him? He doesn't love you. He's staying there. Like, what do you do? So he's on a wing and a prayer. He phones up that Ritz-Carlton and he begs and he pleads that maybe they found him. If not, could they look? Not only did they find him, and not only did they overnight Joshie home to the awaiting child at no charge, they also took photos of his extended vacation. Joshie in the spa. Now, I'm what's known in the circles of the world as bougie. I enjoy a good spa. I enjoy a good deep tissue. I get to go to resorts all the time to speak at conferences. And not once, nay, not once have I ever been cucumbered on my eyes. Not once was I ever offered that. Joshie by the pool, doing the perfect man spread. What's up? How you doing? This is Joshie meeting new friends at the bar. That dolphin is inappropriate. If you were hanging out with your fellow conference attendees a couple of nights ago in the streets at 2 a.m. because of the fire, and you were standing around in a circle and you couldn't figure out who the inappropriate dolphin was of your group, I hate to tell you, you're the inappropriate dolphin in the group. There's always one. There's always one. And since Joshie extended his stay, he has to pay for that $569 a night average room rate, so they made him work in loss prevention. And now that since he is an employee, we do have to keep it legit and follow proper procedures and policies, and he has an ID badge. Laminated. If you didn't say "aw" just now, or a little tingly didn't hit the back of your neck, you're what's known in your industry as a psychopath. Yeah. Therapy can do wonders for you if you work on that. So they took Joshie, a letter for the general manager, a photo album of all the photos. By the way, millennials, a photo album is where we used to put pictures into our album. I'm sorry. Pictures are something we used to print. Anyway, so they sent it home to the father and the waiting child at no charge. What do you think the father did when he received this package, other than change his pants? What did he do? What would you do? He told everybody. He talked about it, he tweeted about it, he blogged about it, which is where I saw it first. Everybody wants word of mouth, but they forget the one thing that it takes: evoking emotion. If you want word of mouth, you need to do things worth talking about. I ran the most successful viral video company on this planet in the mid-2000s. We had 67 client activations, millions of views for all of them. And I only learned that one thing. If you actually evoke emotion, people spread it. What kills it is corporate. What kills it is 3 people in communications watering it down and then sending it to legal. Thanks. No, no thanks. Emotion is what connects us as people. True emotion, not artificial. This thing is so well, and we share it and we spread it, and now I tell it. One of the best things about word of mouth is what? It doesn't cost anything. How much does this cost the Ritz-Carlton every time I tell it at a talk? How much? $5,000, yes. Yeah. It's a branding thing. We're working on it. I'm kidding. It's not 5,000. It's 7,000. But it's free, right? That's the point. He went and he told everybody, to the point that when I look at a logo, I don't see the lion. I see a giraffe. That's the point. You are the living, breathing brand. And my favorite part of this story isn't even the story. It's the authors of the story. This was not the VP of marketing. This was not Sir Ritz-Carlton himself, who's not an actual person. This was a loss prevention associate and somebody in laundry that said, this is special. We are living, breathing brands. And I hear things about marketing. I heard it today. I love the stuff before me today. I love all those numbers and click-throughs and attribution. And then Christopher gets up here and says attribution's bullshit and says, mwah! Because it is. Data can tell any story we want it to. Any story. And that's when you are the brand. That's when it shifts a bit. That's when it changes a bit. So where do we go in marketing? One thing I want to tell you as somebody, along with Allison and myself, that we are co-authors and co-owners of the company and 7 books. She's the writer and the smart one. I'm the one that does this. I just blah, 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 and I run away. But together we have this company that does it, and we are the individual. So when somebody rips your marketing, they rip you. It hurts. But what I'm here to tell you, one of the things I want to tell you is that no marketing's dead. None. Skywriting can still work. Hell, goddamn, if you do skywriting now, I'd love it. Banners being pulled by airplanes, direct mail, advertising, events, lunch and learns, everything works and everything doesn't. Depends on what you do. And when you see, if you ever hear somebody say, this type of marketing is dead, they're usually selling you the alternative. No marketing is dead. I am a social media pro. I was an influencer on Twitter before the word existed. In 2011, I was the #1 Canadian on Twitter. I'm Canadian, by the way. Apple Pay will be coming around the room for the tariffs, so we're going to keep going. #1 Canadian and #3 in North America in social media. And most of you are like, who the hell is this guy? Right? Different world back then. But it's my world. I understand it greatly. And you don't have to do it. That's it. If you don't want to, if your heart's not into it, don't do it. Find your groove. You know what? It's like going with your grain. You ever cut wood against the grain? It ain't working too well. Your grain might be writing, then write. If you want to speak or do a podcast, but you're nervous, that's okay. Get some reps in. It's okay. If you don't want to be on video, here's a thought. Don't be on video. There's nothing worse than watching a video of somebody who doesn't want to be on video and clearly isn't want to be on video and who's not good at video. Go with you. If you are your authentic self, you have no competition. That was the #1 sentence highlighted in our first book, UnMarketing. Why? Because an author, Kindle, used to let us see what people highlighted the most. In a world that is moving towards artificial, be authentic. Be you. So how do you get out there then? How do you do these type of things and find your people? Let's take it out of your world. Let's say you were a realtor and you wanted to get like me as one of your clients. Fun fact, I hate realtors. I despise them for the most part. I don't know them personally, but stop sticking your face on the board and putting it in front of my house. right? They keep the bus shelter advertising industry alive, right? Right? Bus benches all around Nashville, thank realtors. But I've never bought a property from somebody because I sat on their face. Yes? You know the phrase, it takes people 9 times to see an ad before they act? You know who came up with that stat? Somebody selling ads. You know why Crest in the commercial puts that much extra toothpaste on the thing? Because they sold more toothpaste. Yeah. It's terrible. So how do you find and how do you get in touch with somebody like me who is who you want? Because I'm known as a potential exponential referrer. That is somebody in your area that has been in your area for a long time, has deep connections, and know a lot of other people. That's who, people want to come to me. The most people I speak to in my career are realtors. The louder I yell at them, the angrier I get, the more I hate them. They're like, you should do a keynote at our conference now. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I keep telling you I don't like you. They're like, it's amazing. So good. And I realized why. Because they always think I'm talking about the person beside them. That's so Janet. Yeah, her glamour. I know her photo. Yeah, I know, it's her. It's not me. It's not me. And their photo's like, this is terrible. So let me tell you about the unrealtor. How to get in front of this person without him blowing me up. So I was doing a talk in my town just west of Toronto, to actually my hometown, real estate board. And I gave my talk, and in that talk, I talked about how much I did not like them, but also how much I'm in Oakville. Oakville is my town, and I know I've been there for all my life. I went off to India to do a talk, and came back a while later. And my doorbell rang. And I'm like, it's weird. What are you doing? Just to understand, by the way, unmarketing is very kind of anti-cold calling, spam, all that type of stuff. It's about relationships and getting yourself in front of your community. So coming up and knocking on my door isn't advisable, okay? So he sees my talk, and he is like, that guy, I'm gonna get him as a client. So then he starts doing research, which is a novel idea these days. And he goes on this underground like Tor network site, write it down. And he did this some really incognito research. It's called LinkedIn. And he went to LinkedIn and saw that we have a podcast called the Unpodcast, the show for the fed up, the business show for the fed up. It's the only show you don't want your brand on, pretty much. We did it for years, and I agree again with what everybody said before me. We had a full, if you go look it up on YouTube, it is a 3-camera shoot, audio engineer team, everything, edits, post, everything. We did it for about $1,000 an episode. Full studio, everything. And if you go check it out ever and I want to help you out, just drop me an email. I'll give you any information about that type of stuff you want to know. He looked at it, saw the podcast, and at the time it was the Unpodcast, and we had another podcast, which was a 14-episode show called the Vegas 30. And it was Vegas for people over 30. Okay, we love Vegas. Alice and I got married there at the drive-through chapel. Best $67 I ever spent. Second marriage for both of us. We're just like pulling through the drive-through like it's an Arby's. Like, what's up? How you doing? And then we're married, so we're good. The show was like too old to stand in line, but too young to only play bingo. And that was the demographic we were going after. And we had 14 episodes about Vegas, and one of the episodes we talked about this donut shop in Vegas called Ronald's Donuts. It's famous in Vegas. And if you go on Yelp, it has like 465 5-star reviews. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a donut. The next donut place in Vegas was like Krispy Kreme with like 9 reviews. And the review is like confirmed, is a Krispy Kreme. Like there's nothing, what are you gonna review about it? Right? Like I saw one review said, person's like, this is my favorite place to go in Vegas. And I'm like, have you been? Have you, what? Like there's cocaine everywhere. What are you talking about? Donut shop. Another person said, I rent a car solely to come here. And I'm like, Vegas is built on cabs. What are you talking about? So we get there and I rented a car and I went to Ronald's and I did. So Alice and I were about to do a workshop at a big conference. A friend of ours was running and we're like, but it's concurrent. If you've ever done a talk while others are doing talks, you try to pull people into your room. Here's your tip. Donuts. donuts. So we go to Ronald's, and we drive up. And the window is kind of papered up. And there's a handwritten sign that says cash only. And I'm walking in, I'm like, oh, this is where the cocaine is. Oh, nice, right? A little shady, little money laundering. It's like a seedy strip mall. That's redundant. It's like a strip mall, you know, right? And you go in, and I walked in, and I'm like, I'm sorry, that was for the smell. That was for the smell of the donuts. I'm sorry, that was a bad timing with the cocaine joke. I walked in, and the smell was the best donut smell I've ever had. And I'm like, oh my God. And I walked in, and then I realized, Allison, we actually didn't pre-order this, and we need like 6 dozen. If you walk into, let's say, a Dunkin' and say, can I have 6 dozen donuts on the spot? They will punch you in the mouth, and you will walk out of there crying. And I said, I'm sorry to be this person, but can we have 6 dozen? She's like, yep. Whoo! 6 boxes mixed right there. And then I ate them all the way back to the hotel. And they were the best thing ever. Fast forward a couple years later, like I said, I got back from India, and a couple of days later, our doorbell rang. Allison gets it, because she knows I just don't want to see anybody at the door. Opens the door, and there's nobody there. I'm like, what are you just doing this kind of like ding-ditch step and woo, and out you go? No, it was only just a dozen donuts sitting on our front doorstep in Oakville, just west of Toronto in Canada, from Ronald's Donuts in Las Vegas. And Allison goes, what the, Scott, there's free dough, and she gets to dough. I'm halfway down the stairs. And I'm like, get out of the way! And I'm just like, oh, and I'm like, what, from Vegas? And I start shoving them into my pie hole. And she's like, don't you want to know who they're from? And I'm like, I don't care, but maybe they should come for a sleepover one day. We can hang out. Our parents can talk to each other, and we can just hang out or something. And then we look in the box, and there's a business card taped to the top. But backwards, so it's the blank side. It's handwriting. It says, Scott, thank you again for your talk. And he named the talk I had done a month before in town. And he said, thanks so much. I learned so much. Petrus. P.S. I hear you love these donuts. And I'm just like, what? Now, this might have been like the sugar coma I was in. But instead of trying to figure out how he found my home address, which is still a question, instead of thinking, how did he get my address, I went searching for him. The number 1 person in my country and top 3 in North America is on Twitter looking for a real estate agent to give him a hug. The guy who hates realtors. And I just wrote all caps. I'm like, dude, donuts. Like I couldn't speak. And he's like, hey, I'm glad you got them. Thank you again for your talk. And I'm just like, so what happens now? Because I ate them all. Is that now a legal, like, oral agreement now? Like, I just ate the donuts? And he's like, no, I don't want anything. I just want to say thank you. I'm like, do I have to buy a house? And he's like, no. I'm like, are you saying I can't buy a house? I'll buy 2. What? He's like, no, thank you again. And I'm like, oh, dude, what? Doing my own unmarketing to me? Okay. And what he didn't know was that day we went to go and record our show. This is the old studio, don't worry, this wasn't the new one. And I dress better now. Do you see the pink box? That's Ronald's Donuts. Guess who we talked about on the show? Petrus the Donut Man and a realtor. We talked positively about a realtor for 10 minutes. That's 10 more minutes than I've ever done that. And then he put us on his list. Just a little drip here, a little drip here. But his drip wasn't email. His drip wasn't another newsletter that's been published by the same real estate agent for 73 years, and every agent uses. This is a high-quality, glossy architecture magazine put out by their brokerage, by their brand. But here's the thing. It's not just the magazine. It's a magazine. Okay, it costs a lot of money to make, blah, 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 blah. It's how he gave it to us. He didn't put us on a mailing list and just shipped it out to us. He left it on our front stoop in a black vinyl bag with our names across the top with VIP in it, and left it there. Because like we have I don't know, do you have community mailboxes where you are? You ever heard of these things? They put it like in the block and you gotta go walk to get your mail like a sucker, right? Like I gotta put a robe on now, because complaints about me walking on with that one. You're like, I used to be able to reach outside my door and do this, no pants, just boom, get in, get out. I gotta put on pants now at this point. But they didn't even send it in them regular mail, hand dropped. A year goes by. Alice and I realized, hey, 7 people probably can't fit in a house built for 3. We should probably move it on up. Get a house. I'd never bought one though. Rented my whole life. It's just how life is. I was 40. So I said to Allison, hey, reach out to the Petrus guy. Really, let's see what he says. She sends him an email. I swear to God, like before, as she presses send, our doorbell rings. It's like sinners, right? Like we've invited him in, right? See, I open it, he's like, hey, I was in the neighborhood. I was like 90 miles away. And I just said, you want to talk about HUDs? Yeah? We're like, yeah, we're just interested in thinking about it. So he's like, great. He sits down with us and he starts dealing, now he's got to deal with me. And we're like, we're not looking right now. We're down the road. We want to see what's out there, like everybody says. And he's like, for sure. For sure. And then 2 days later, he's like, I got something for you. I was like, dude, we're not ready. And we put an offer in. So, and then we didn't get it. And so he's like, okay, cool. I'm sorry. We'll just wait and give it some time. 36 hours later, he's like, dude, you got to come see this. And I'm like, I'm not going. Allison's like, baby, I'll go. And she goes. She gets there. She calls me. She says, you got to come over here. And then we bought it. That's us and our kids. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're missing one there. He was away at college, I think. We're not sure if he was going to class. But that's us in front of the for sale sign and the sold sign. So we got the house. Now, some people see this, and they're like, hey, this is us here. That's Petrus on the right, the realtor. It's myself. Beside me is Lauren. That's his wife, and Allison's beside. I don't know why they're switched. It's weird. But anyway, so that's them. That's at a recording of our 200th episode of our show where we brought in a live studio audience because I just wanted to say the term live studio audience. And so they came and we talked about them. And people were like, well, and then they live near in the town. Alice and I don't go out for dinner almost ever. I'm on the road a lot. We travel a bunch outside of that. And at home, when you get used to having 7 kids, you don't want to get a new mortgage. You don't usually go out too much for dinner. And so we finally went out with them. We had other friends asking forever. They're like, dude, why did you go out for dinner with them? And you don't even like realtors. I'm like, I didn't go out for dinner with a realtor. We went out with dinner with friends. That. And that was the difference. And some people say, well, yeah, but. And then we get to the yeah, buts, right? Yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but this. Let me give you some yeah, buts to conquer for you. These were his hurdles. He was new to the continent. A week prior to my talk in town, he'd moved from South Africa. I'm sorry, he wasn't new to the continent. He's new to the hemisphere. He was a new real estate agent. This was his start. He was a real estate lawyer in South Africa. Then he was getting into real estate itself. The brokerage did not have a huge brand presence where I am. He's part of Sotheby's Real Estate. I thought Sotheby's was an auction house in England that auctioned off Fabergé eggs. I'd seen everything else forever. There are 1,400 registered realtors in my town of Oakville. My town is 140,000 people. You do the math. It is also one of the most expensive places to live in Canada. I'm not proud of that at all. That's not cool. Things cost way too much where I'm at. Huge competition. And I'd been exposed to those billboards and bus benches and ads and flyer drops and calendars with your faces on it for years and fridge magnets. What are you talking about? And I went with none of them for the most important decision of our life. And in 2018, his second year, he had 40 million in sales. All because of that personal touch. All because he knew that phrase, right? He knew that he's the brand. Put this up at home in your office. Maybe not this, it's creepy. But he knew this. When you are your authentic self, you have no competition. And when we were talking afterwards, he said, you know what? I almost didn't drop the donuts off. I was sitting by the lake on a bench. Dude was like a Canadian Forrest Gump. Just pondering with a box of donuts on the bench. Life is like a box of donuts. And it's just like, it's sitting there. And he did it because it's him. I want you to be you. You want to do a podcast, but it's not about financial planning? Awesome, by the way. That's awesome. That's awesome because you know who doesn't think about financial planning a lot? Everybody else. Yeah, everybody, yeah. So get in there. You want to do a podcast about your town? Do that. You want to do a podcast about something else? Do that. You want to do a podcast about how terrible I am as a speaker? Do that. I'll come on. I'll be your first guest. Do whatever you got to do. But to wrap it up, it wasn't done. We'd already bought the house. I'm not buying another one. Thanks for coming. My mortgage is 942 years. Right? Bi-weekly. So what am I going to get me? He wants to get something for the holidays. We referred a bunch of people to him. I am now his exponential referral. But what does he get the person who doesn't want anything? And he talks to Allison. I don't even know it. He goes incognito, talks to Allison, who knows, obviously, me. And she says he loves Wolverine. I love comic books. I got 42 comic book statues at home. I never grew up, and I hate QR codes. We have one of our books is called QR Codes Kill Kittens. Look it up. We pitched it as a joke, and they're like, do it. We're like, oh, crap. It's a business picture book of bad marketing. Look it up. Also, that he knows this tattoo means a lot to me. It says unlearn. It's from the movie Higher Learning from the 90s, John Singleton film. It's about unlearning hate. It's unlearning hate, and he knows that. He says, hey, man, texts you. He goes, you home? Can I just pop by for a second? I'm like, I'm not buying another house, dude. He's like, haha. And he hands me, and I'm like, he's like, I have a gift for you. I'm like, are they donuts? He's like, no. I'm like, I don't want to see you. And he hands me a manila folder. And I'm like, is it my report card? And I pull it. It's a hand-drawn illustration from a local comic book artist, and he knows I love local. And he drew me Wolverine slashing a QR code with unlearned tattooed on his arm. Wait. And then I did one thing I never thought I'd do. I hugged a realtor. Thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the day.